there, we didn't see you. I'm Ashley Esqueda, and we're celebrating 25 years of Double Fine by talking to some of the developers and the games that they've worked on in the past. Very excited to have JP LeBreton here. You were lead designer on The Cave. Mm-hmm. I want to say this is like a cult classic. To me, it's a cult classic. But for those who have not played The Cave, what's the elevator pitch?
Well, it's a game where you can pick from any 3 of the 7 playable characters, and it's a game that takes place entirely from a side view as you start up on the surface and you wind your way down through the cave, and each of these characters is in search of the thing that they desire most. And in the course of that, the cave isn't just an environment. He's the main character who talks throughout the game. Obviously, aside from that, it's also just, it's an adventure platformer, I think is what we would call it now.
This is a sort of cave. You're gonna go ahead and try to solve that while I ask you some questions about the cave.
Okay.
So for the cave, JP, what were some of the pillars, the main pillars of the game?
So the pillars in the cave are down in the adventure level. They're in the Egyptian tomb. They're made of stone and they hold up the structure. No, so
the literal pillars.
Yeah. The cave is it's a concept that actually dates back to the beginning of Ron's career before he joined Lucasfilm Games. But then he went on to make Maniac Mansion.
One of my all-time favorites.
Yep, yeah, just foundational work of adventure games.
Inspiration to the cave, of course.
Right,
yep.
Which has a pretty direct, Maniac Mansion had 7 playable characters. And so, he wanted to revisit that, but in this sort of new context. And platformers are an obvious thing that you can hybridize with adventure game puzzle mechanics and stuff like that. And so that's what the idea with this game was. Let's take multiple playable characters, each of which has their own story, but the characters' different abilities and stuff give you a different path through it.
I think it's stuck in the bottom right there.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
That's kind of impressive.
That's kind of
I'm impressed. That feels
sort
like
of
a win
state.
scenario.
Exactly.
I think we should leave it there and say you're a winner.
All right.
I think that feels like a win. We can never.
Perfect.
We can never touch this again. What's the heartbreaker cut?
For a cut specifically, we have a pretty easy answer there because originally we were going to do 9 playable characters. It was 2 playable characters, the witch and the mobster. Those would have been cool, and we got as far as designing the puzzles on the whiteboard. The witch could turn into a cat, which was cool and could crawl through little spaces and stuff.
Small spaces and everything, okay.
Yep. And then the mobster was just a brute and he just had strength, so he could break through stuff.
The Unga Bunga build.
Yeah, the big old bruiser. I guess there's a few other things, there's a lot of stuff that looks cool up close in this game, but also the way that we designed these levels, they look really impressive and cool when you just see the whole thing, because with the night bubble, for instance, you see just the entire castle. So I really wish we could have pulled out the camera more and just shown the madness of just all the different passages and stuff like that, because it does look really cool. And then as far as building stuff, so we had this nice process of getting to the point where we had a skeleton for the level, getting it, from just an idea to a playable thing. But then from that point, it's okay, well, to ship this thing, we need artwork, obviously that's a really important part of it. And the art process was very, getting those cutaways, every time you see rock going right up to this sort of implicit camera plane, that was just manually done by the artists. They had to cut stuff and then put a texture on it and kind of make sure that all the geometry looked good on it.
Oh, wow.
Whereas I think nowadays you would just build stuff and then you would use a shader or something to do that cutaway.
Right.
And it would mean that we could change stuff because the art was it was pouring concrete. Once that stuff dried, it's going to be very difficult to change this. We would only be able to change it if we had a really good reason to. We can still move around objects and triggers and stuff like that. But if we had been able to adjust some of the jumps or the art or just anything like that, I think that would have just made everything about the game easier because good tools are sort of about being able to change your mind about stuff.
Right.
So I do wish that we had if we had made this game 10 years later or something, I think we would have been able to do something cool like that. But
that's awesome.
JP,
what do you think makes The Cave, what's the soul of this game that makes it kind of a quintessential Double Fine game?
Yeah, gosh. Having characters and having humor and having something a little weird about it that doesn't quite make sense at first, but then you get it, and what that is on any given project is just sort of the product of all of our collective creative sensibilities. But yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. I like that answer. Okay, my very last question is, of all the things in The Cave that you worked on, what's the thing you're most proud of?
I'm actually really proud of the fact that I So yeah, I played Maniac Mansion back in the day. And then
Did you blow the hamster up in the microwave?
I did, yeah. I was, in my defense, I was
No,
a
don't
little
defend
kid.
that. No, it's indefensible, but also,
Yeah.
wheel.
The game lets you.
We're friends now, by the way, forever.
Cool, all right, yeah.
The Exploded Hamster Club.
The Hamster Club, yeah. Ron's early work, was formative for, the genre and the industry, but, it was important to me personally too. And so going in, and being getting hired as a designer on his project, I wasn't really sure how that was going to go. He had a particular way of designing the puzzles and stuff that I think was really successful. We were able to build a lot of stuff and design a bunch of puzzles. And so I'm just kind of proud of the fact that I was able to learn that dynamic from a master and be able to work within it. And that's more of a process thing than like a specific thing that I put into the game. As far as things that I put into the game, I think we did have to do some sort of, to get the can of corn blowing up achievement. I'm pretty sure I scripted that. Is the can of corn even like a known about thing? I know it was a scavenger hunt item in Psychonauts 2.
Whoa, the expiration date on this thing is the year I was born.
I mean, I feel like if someone has played the cave, obviously they
right.
know.
Yeah, they know about the can of corn. So yeah, and I don't know how much this has been publicly talked about, but so when I got to Double Fine in 2011, I think I was sitting right across from Kichi, programmer, and there was a can of corn on his desk that had apparently been inherited. And it's not just a regular.
It's like a Costco can of corn.
Yeah, it's like a large can of corn.
Feed the whole studio.
It could. Yeah, yeah. So apparently it was brought in by Eric Robson during Brutal Legend development. And Robson had moved on at that point. I don't know how the can of corn passed from Key's desk to my desk, but I put like a little art exhibit plaque on it where I just used my art school degree, or my lack of degree, but my art school education to just write some museum sounding-y sort of pretty, silliness about it. I also forget the specific conversations that led to it being added as an in-game item in the cave. And it actually shows up, I was reminded, replaying it recently, that it does actually show up twice in the game. There's an achievement in, I think, most versions of the game, where you can blow up that can of corn with some of the dynamite, because there's a puzzle that involves dynamite, of course. And so yeah, you can blow up the thing, but specifically, I remember adding, late in development, writing a little bit more Lua to support the player bringing that first can of corn all the way down from the gold mine, just taking it through several different levels. And if you blow that one up, you also will get that achievement, because someone, I forget if me or one of our testers encountered I blew up the can of corn, but I didn't get the can of corn achievement. Well, I had to do something about that. So I'm proud of that. I don't know,
I will take that. That's a point of pride. You should be proud of that.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually. I love it. And in the process, created some Double Fine canon, which has carried through to other games, which is really cool.
Yeah, and that can of corn is, to this day, I confirmed today when I came in, it's sitting on Tucker's desk now. So
Can we get the can of corn? Let's get the can of corn.
Bring it in.
Tim, get the can of corn.
Our very special guest. So tell us about it.
No, they're going to go get it. This is it. We're going to put it down. It's going to be a great jump cut, and we're just going to slam it.
That's sound.
That's hefty.
Satisfying.
I like that you have an origination date that you are have a question mark about.
Right. It's historians are still uncertain on the.
There's no use by date on here, which makes me very nervous.
It's not puffy, so
No, I was saying it will explode on its own.
It's not alive.
Someday.
Someday, absolutely. Yeah.
Someday it will explode.
Yeah, we got to do a corrosion
own.
check on it, so just once a year.
This is extremely. This is very bougie. This is very museum-like. Highly regarded as the artist's most enduring and definitive statement. The bold use of niblets eschews the de rigueur among contemporary symbolism of creamed corn. This is good.
Right.
So this has actually been here longer than a lot of Double Fine employees. It's one of the longest tenured employees. That feels like a good place to end things on. JP, this has been a delight.
Yeah.
Thank you for helping create such an amazing piece of Double Fine lore. This is studio lore right here, studio canon. I love little stories like this. I think it's really awesome. It's what makes Double Fine Double Fine. And if you haven't played The Cave, you should play it because it's great. And if you haven't blown up a hamster in a microwave, play Maniac Mansion also because, you can make Weird Ed really mad. All right, everybody. Thank you again for talking to us.
Thanks so much.
We'll have more great DF25 anniversary videos, but hopefully you enjoyed this one. Play The Cave.